It'd be very easy to feel a little down after the results on Sunday didn't quite go our way. Spurs earned a draw at Liverpool. How on earth did they put five past us, really? I mean, how on earth? And Nottingham Forest got a point at home to Fulham. Look, with Liverpool at home, Spurs not doing so well lately, as well as Nottingham Forest not putting their chances away in recent games, and Fulham kind of being a bit better away than they are at home, you would have put money on Liverpool and Fulham getting wins. But that was not to be. Liverpool were literally sleepwalking through their game, and it's a surprise it took Spurs 90 minutes to get their equaliser. Liverpool was simply awful throughout the game, making all the wrong decisions in front of goal, and the draw halted Igor Tudor's run of 4 defeats in a row. So Spurs will undoubtedly be the happier of the two, having snatched a late equaliser. And when it comes to Nottingham Forest, they did have a goal disallowed for offside in the second half, but Vitor Pereira has yet to oversee a Premier League win since his arrival as manager. And Fulham, they didn't register one shot on target. All the things that could have gone wrong in these two games certainly did, especially for us. Yet, at the same time, I guess many people would have put money on us getting absolutely nothing in the game against Man City. We haven't beaten them at home in the league since 2014. Yeah, okay, we beat them in the Cup, in the League Cup in 2021 on penalties, but our record against Man City is not great, has not been great in recent years. But despite feeling perhaps a little bit deflated, maybe, yeah, given that the results didn't go our way, and we shouldn't be expecting them to, should we? It's down to us. We've just got to win our games in order to get out of the predicament we're in. But despite feeling a little deflated that the results didn't go our way, I'm not disheartened. And why am I not disheartened? Well, I'll tell you in a moment, because if you're new to the channel, or if you watched the West Ham Voice before but yet to become a subscriber, all you got to do is click on that QR code that's appeared in the corner there after the show. Takes you straight to the subscription page. Subscription is free of charge. If you like the show, please do click the like button below the video. And you can also hit the hype button, which allows you to elevate the video on my behalf. And I'll thank you for that. So why am I not disheartened? Well, because I do believe that West Ham United have got the momentum of all the teams down at the foot of the Premier League table at this moment in time. And also, we've been here before. There are players in the squad who have experienced the relegation dogfight, not only West Ham players over the last season or two, but some of the players that we brought in last summer. For example, Mads Hermansen of Leicester, and of course, Matthias Fernandes and Carl Walker-Peters when they were both at Southampton. Whereas the other teams down there haven't quite got that kind of experience that we have. I'm not saying it's in a good way. We shouldn't have experience of battling relegation, but it's going to help us. And when you think about Spurs, they don't have experience of a relegation dogfight. Sure, they were down near the bottom last season, but they were far less in danger of relegation than we were. So they wouldn't have felt the same kind of pressure as we've experienced in the past. Nottingham Forest, yeah, they've been there before, but may just be equipped enough to get out of danger, maybe. But they are misfiring in front of goal at the moment. Now, for me, I still think it's Spurs who's going to slip up. Not just because, there's that rivalry between West Ham and Spurs, but I just feel that they are the team that are really not in form at the moment. Whereas for us, we've got a new lease of life. Has it come too late? I don't know. I don't think so. But thank God it's coming finally. But the last 8 games of the season, let's be honest, they're going to be a hard slog. It was a hard watch on Saturday in an enjoyable but not enjoyable way, because we were level. But, watching the minutes go by was like as if 1 minute was an hour. That's how slow it felt. So it's going to be tough. But I think we're up for the fight. I think we're really up for it. And why do I feel so confident? Well, you've got to think about how West Ham have been performing in the last few months. Since the FA Cup round against QPR, we've played 12 games in all competitions. We've won 7, we've drawn 3, we've lost 2, and we've kept 4 clean sheets, and we've scored 19 goals. We've conceded 15. We've kept 4 clean sheets, but winning 7, drawing 3, and losing just 2 games. And when you think about the games that we lost, really unfortunate to have lost against Chelsea in that game. We should have got something from that without a doubt. And then against Liverpool, where we conceded 5 goals, and 3 of those goals were deflected. So we're doing well. The tide has turned. It's changed. You know, we show a resilience. We show an attitude, a very different attitude to everything that we're doing. And the teams around us don't seem to have that same kind of composure, that same kind of resilience. And against Man City on Saturday night, look, we showed a different side to our game. We have been resilient, we have been great, but that defensive resilience that many West Ham fans simply believed wasn't possible a few months ago. So, okay, look, the league table down at the bottom is as it was before the weekend fixtures started. But tell me, which of the 3 teams that you've seen over the weekend have been the better teams? Spurs, Nottingham Forest, or ourselves? Look, without wanting to show a bias, and of course I'm going to be biased, but I am going to say, because of the way we've played, it simply was West Ham United. That hard-fought point was much more satisfying than seeing Nottingham Forest wasting their chances and and also Tottenham Hotspur grabbing a late equaliser. We stayed in the game against Man City, and not once did we look like a team struggling at the wrong end of the table. So now we've got to look forward to one more game before the international break, and we go up against an Aston Villa side who haven't won in the last 5. So some fans are already saying, bring on West Ham, the gift that keeps on giving, predicting the inevitability that we're going to get beat because Aston Villa are going to be up for it. Well, of course they are, but so are we. Let's just wait and see what happens, because Spurs are hosting Nottingham Forest. And I reckon that the team that loses that game is very likely to be the team who goes down along with Burnley and Wolves. Now that's not me being arrogant and to say that I think we're going to beat Aston Villa next weekend, but I think we can give them a good game, and maybe we can walk away with a draw. Maybe that won't be enough, but we've just got to make sure we avoid getting beaten. It's all here. It's all to play for. And we've had, we only a few months ago, we had absolutely no chance. We were dead and buried. But look at us now. We're level on points with Nottingham Forest. It's a goal difference that's hindering us. Level on points with Nottingham Forest, and just a point away from Tottenham Hotspur. You wouldn't have given us a cat in hell's chance a few months back, but look how we've closed that gap. But if we do get a win against Villa, then that could potentially also draw Leeds United back into the thick of it, because they host a decent Brentford side on Saturday as well. So let's not lose hope. As for the game on Saturday, let's get back to the positives. On reflection, the way we approach this game feels better and more satisfying now than it did on Saturday, if that's even at all possible. We knew that we would see very little of the ball, and we had to keep our nerve and not get drawn into the type of game that Man City wanted us to do. So, we were chasing shadow. Actually, I'm going to take that back. We weren't chasing shadows because they weren't getting past us. We were resilient. We held our nerve. We were, all right. It was difficult at times to watch it, given that we didn't have the ball, but we kept at it. We knew what we had to do. Look, if I was a neutral, I would applaud Man City for their fantastic possession-based football. You've got to admire the way they passed the ball around. They seemed always to have a spare man free to pass to. And, you would have to count and recount the number of Man City players that were on the pitch to remind yourself it was 11 v 11. They had 71% possession. I'm actually surprised that we had as much as 29%. They had 6 shots on target to our 1, but our 1 counted. They had 15 corners to our 1, but again, our 1 corner counted. The Achilles heel that we've suffered for most of the season being unable to defend set pieces, looked to be nowhere in sight. Every single player played their role in cutting out corners, cutting out crosses, everything that Man City threw at us, we managed with aplomb. Man of the match, of course, was Dinos, and look at this photo. That is the photo that gave him a black eye. He was man of the match, and deservedly so. Not only for scoring the goal, but his defensive resilience. It's interesting because whenever Semenyo was dropping deep to pick up the ball, the player close to him was Dinos, almost man marking him out of the game. And it worked because Semenyo didn't really get much of a chance in the game. And he was subbed later on in the game because it was ineffective. I said in my preview on Friday that Man City would look to take control of the game, manage the game from midfield, which they did exactly as I predicted. And they would try to get the ball out to their wide players to cause havoc for us. But we cut them out. Every time their wide players got the ball, we were all over them. The way we defended against them made sure that they were not getting the clear-cut chances that they're very able to create in most games. The five at the back, as much as no one really wanted it, and neither did I, worked a treat. Todibo helped Aaron Wan-Bissaka with his pace on the right-hand side of the pitch. The Colossus Disasi quietly went about his business and helped Malik Diouf on the left-hand side, whilst Dinos policed the centre of defence, and he did it so very well. And then Souček and Fernandes, all right, they tried to get in the game, but they did affect the game. They didn't get much of a sniff. They didn't get much of the ball itself because of Man City's midfield dominance. But what they did throughout the game was to get in their faces. They disrupted their flow of play. They cut out the balls to the wide players, and they did that with such great effect. And when a team doesn't have much of a ball, fatigue starts to set in. Concentration starts to wane, and that's when mistakes start to happen. But staying focused for the whole game was admirable, truly heroic, and we thoroughly deserved the point that we got. Now, many fans have said in the past that we sit too deep against teams and we give them the momentum, and we try to counter-attack. But my counter argument to that is, on occasion, there's a quality in a football team that leaves you with little choice but to keep falling back, not because you want to sit back, but because you're soaking up the pressure and you're actually being pushed back. And Man City did just that on Saturday. Their relentless ball keeping kept forcing us further and further back. We didn't want to sit that far back, but we were made to. There's a big difference between deliberately sitting back and actually being made to. So we weren't sitting back in this game. We just couldn't get hold of the ball. And when we did, Man City closed us down so quickly that it made us rush our passing. We just couldn't keep the ball long enough for any sustained period of time. But unlike before, we didn't crack under the pressure to concede a late goal. Our defending by the whole team was top notch. I think like many, I think I prefer us, being attacking. We like attacking teams. But sometimes you've got to sit back and just admire the way that some teams defended, and the way we defended on Saturday. I'll tell you what, the Italians would have loved it. I said in the past that, the Italians love defending. It's all about defending for them. And if any Italians were watching the game, they would have said, oh, marvellous game. But it was a marvellous game, nonetheless. Our only chance of getting anything was clearly going to be from a set piece. And after going down to what was, Bernardo Silva said it was deliberate, that dink, we got back into it from our one and only corner. I'm smiling because it only took one, didn't it? I was really begging for us to get another corner because we might have got a second goal. Now, Dinos has got to be one of the most improved players in West Ham United over the last year or so. He stepped up to the mark. A subscriber mentioned on one of my post-match videos that we have got to thank Tim Stylen for Mavropanos and Mohamedou Kante, who put in another great performance against Brentford last Monday night. And I thought Kante would be the player that would come on when changes were being made. And it was a bit of a surprise. that it was Magassa instead of Kante. But credit to Nuno, because at the crucial stage of the final minutes of the game, Nuno took Bowen off, and he brought in. He got faith. He's got faith in him. He brought on Mohamedou Kante to help see out the game. Look, people, I'm confident because we've got the momentum behind us, we've got the resilience behind us, we've got the camaraderie behind us, we've got a squad fighting for each other now, who have that bond that we haven't seen for a long time. You know, and when Nuno talked about rebalancing the squad in the January, it wasn't just about the numbers, it was about moving on the disruptors. All right, he wanted to keep Paqueta, but in hindsight, what a bonus it's been for Paqueta to have left West Ham United. So Paqueta's gone. I think he was a bit of a, not in a malicious way, but I think he was a bit of a disruptor. He was the man, wasn't he? Fulkrug has gone. He was a disruptor. If you remember last season when I wasn't happy about him talking out about saying that we were rubbish and all that sort of stuff, I was one of the few that said it was so wrong. It was so wrong for him to do it. But a lot of fans were applauding. Oh, he speaks the truth. Well, I just think that, you know, for morale, I don't think that was good at all. He's gone. And now we've got a balance in the squad that really is fighting for each other. There's no way on earth that we would have put in the performance that we did had the likes of Paqueta and Fulkrug stayed in the squad after January. I think we would have been relegated by now, and that's the honest truth. Look, a masterpiece in defending, a fantastic day of a fantastic display of patience and togetherness. We earned our point against Man City, and I believe that this attitude and approach will see us to safety. And when we stay up, and when we keep most of our players, because I know there's a fear that because of the financial results, etc., we're going to sell the likes of Fernandes, etc. If we stay up, or when we stay up, we will keep the likes of Fernandes. We will keep some of the players that are massive at this moment in time. We'll sign Disasi, we'll keep Todibo, etc. And then watch us fly in the Premier League next season under Nuno Espirito Santo.